So we've decided we're going to head clockwise around Australia. There's a couple of things to think about when you're planning to head off anti-clockwise or clockwise. And some of the feedback we got was quite varied. Some people said prevailing winds. You know, you've got to head across from the west to the east to be able to take advantage of those winds. There's scorching heat in South Australia. Don't head into South Australia because of the scorching heat.
Which has actually been a bit of a learning point for me as well, is the climate in different parts of Australia. And thinking about what we would call winter still being 30 degrees during the day.
And conversely, summer being a wet period in some parts of the country. North, so
whereas we have our rain in winter. So it's almost backwards in that respect.
So when we were looking at directions, anti-clockwise and clockwise, that was quickly coming into our thoughts as we were thinking about which way we go and where do we go when, right?
It was that line that people advised us to draw across the middle of Australia. If you've not heard of it, look it up. A line across the middle of Australia, your top half, your bottom half, and really advised to stay below that line up until April, and then above that line from about April until October.
And the idea there is that there's rainy seasons, but there's also cyclones. So something that was drummed into us was not to go past Perth until April, because you're risking cyclone season up north if you do that. So leaving from Victoria, we have to leave in December, just after Christmas, if we're to do a full year and be back in time for Jed to go into year 7 at school. So these things are starting to pencil in to help us work out when and where we go. Driving anti-clockwise, you'll be on the left-hand side of the road, so you'll save some kilometres heading around Australia. I don't know, but that was mentioned a couple of times, so I haven't yet found any information or anyone that's actually done it and compared both trips. Maybe that's something for us in the future. We'll go the opposite direction and see how it goes. But
some people are very passionate about their thoughts.
Yeah, they are. And then the East Coast, the other thing was East Coast coming into Christmas, heading up the East Coast. So they're all things we had to factor in on top of all those climate issues we spoke about before. So that's why we're going the clockwise route. For everyone that put forward one of the reasons not to do clockwise or not to do anti-clockwise, there was someone else with a counter opinion to that. So it seems one of those things, whether they're old wives' tales or experience, weather changes, winds change direction. Sometimes the wind, even if you're coming from west to east, can be blowing westerly anyway, so you're heading straight into it. So those sorts of things, we're just going to try our luck as we travel around the country.